So, today we will be looking at a scenario where Ethiopia and Egypt go to war. So, we have Ethiopia finishing the dam of the Nile River, and they dam off the Nile River, making Egypt and Sudan send missiles to break the dam, and that causes a war between Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia. So the first few things that happened, Djibouti and Eritrea joined Ethiopia. To come into their defense. And nothing really happens other than a small amount of Eritrean and Ethiopian troops start to move into Sudan, making quite a lot of progress, but a stalemate does happen. We do have a few things happening though. Somalia, actually, this happens where Somaliland and Somalia are completely divided on this, and they fully split off, where Somalia joins the orange side and Somaliland joins on the blue side. Then, with that happening, that is the state of the war. So we have Somali troops moving into Somaliland, pushing in pretty quickly, as both countries are poor, but it's whoever is the least poor is. Although Ethiopian troops do start to push them back out of Somaliland and even invade Somalia. We have them next. We have them splitting the country into two. And then after that, the other side does start to fall, although the Ethiopians do get stopped in southern Somalia. We have Egyptian troops making it down over here, invading Eritrea, a little bit of Ethiopia. And they invade the outside of Ethiopia very easily and take over all of Eritrea and Djibouti. Although it's the middle of the country that's most important, which is also the highlands, and they do get pushed back. And they get encircled in Djibouti. And this is where the war starts to kind of slow down a bit, although all of Somalia is captured, and Ethiopia does start to push out into Sudan. All of South Sudan joins them if they get independent. If South Sudan joins them, only if Ethiopia promises to, grant them independence, and they do. So South Sudan does rise up. And let's say this is set in 2010. We have them getting fully pushed out of Eritrea and moving along the coast. And at this point, Sudan starts to capitulate, and most of the country surrenders to the blue team. Although there is Egyptian troops in the north pushing them back. We do have a few things happening though. We have Israel and Jordan joining on the war against Egypt. And I'm not gonna have Palestine joining in because they'll just expand as a Middle Eastern war, and we don't want that. So these two countries start to invade Egypt, and almost all of the Egyptian military was over here. So they do manage to push out and capture the Suez Canal. And they do make quite a lot of progress. They do snake around the coast. And Israel's military is pretty good, and same thing with Ethiopia. So they do manage to push into Egypt quite easily, although with the Egyptian troops now reorganizing, where they are, they do manage to push back the Ethiopians, and the Israelis, although all of Sudan does fall. And this is where the peace treaty will probably be signed, although it doesn't stop there. Although Lebanon has strong ties with France, France isn't supporting Egypt here. So that means they do be joining on the blue, and they're just in close proximity. And both sides start to try and look for allies. We have Yemen joining in on the war. Although we do have Turkey joining in on Ethiopia's side, as Egypt and Turkey absolutely despise each other. So we have Ethiopian troops meeting Saudi Arabian troops and Iran troops, but we're just going to ignore that this time. So we have them pushing in to Yemen and splitting the country into two. This side surrenders, although they do have lots of trouble with rebel groups in this part of Yemen. And they do get almost fully pushed back. This island gets recaptured, and some bits of Somalia do start to rise up. As you know, that kind of just happens. Although these rebellions are squashed, and they do retake this island. And with this island as a naval base, they do manage to invade this part of Yemen and start to close in. And some of the alliances may not be totally accurate, but this is what I think might happen. So we have Yemen absolutely capitulating. And we have a stalemate here. And not many countries like Israel and Jordan and Lebanon right now, even their own allies, because the Suez Canal was blocked. And the entire world just wants this war to stop, to be honest. Although, with Turkish support, they do manage to navally invade Egypt. Although they do have troubles with Alexandria and Cairo. But they do go around these cities and starve them out, as they have. I'll just show you the naval map so you can get an understanding of what's happening. So, blue team. The only thing Egypt controls is this little Suez Canal thing, but that doesn't really mean that much anymore, so, yeah. So we have them starving out these cities, and eventually these cities do surrender. We have the blue team fully taking control of the Suez Canal and pushing down the coast. We have Ethiopian troops, now with Egypt sending most of their troops up to liberate Cairo and Alexandria. Ethiopia does manage to push up, and they start to go along the Nile River, which is the only thing that keeps Egypt alive. Just water. It's the only thing. Seems stupid, but it really is. We have all of Western Egypt surrendering. We have them fully taking control of the coast. And after this, Egypt does eventually surrender. And this was mostly because of Turkish support. And Turkey's a pretty strong country, as most of you probably know. So, yeah. So that's what would happen. That's what I think would happen if Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan all went to war. So, thanks for watching, and well, goodbye.